I was 32 years old, and I had a 2-year-old son and just had a baby girl. And I was putting my son to bed and reading him a bedtime story. That night it was Dr. Seuss. And I opened up the book, and it was 1 fish, 2 fish, red fish, blue fish. And I stopped. I couldn't breathe. My crushing chest pains, and my upper back hurt. And all these thoughts are racing through my head. What in the world is going on? You know, am I having a heart attack? Try it again. 1 fish, 2 fish, red fish, blue fish. If I can only get him to sleep, then I can figure out what's wrong with me. Crushing chest pains. Then my arm went numb. So I went downstairs, and my husband was rocking our daughter, to sleep. I'm like, I really don't feel good.
And I had a 2-week-old daughter resting on my shoulder here. And we were having just the greatest moment. I finally got her to sleep. I looked at her and I said, well, do we need to go to the emergency room? And she paused for a brief moment and she said yes. And at that moment, I knew something was definitely wrong. Got up, got the baby in the car seat, ran up and got Tobin, who was in his jammies, rushed them into the car, rushed Suzie into the car, and off we went to the hospital. That ride was, I don't really want to relive that ride.
They had me sit in the waiting room, and finally the triage nurse came and got me, and I couldn't sit still. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be difficult, but am I having a heart attack? So I just went through all my symptoms, took my blood pressure, and sent me back out into the waiting room until a bed opened.
Eventually I went up to the front desk and I said, my wife is dying here, we need to do something.
So I told him all my symptoms, and he said, okay, well, you're kind of young to have a heart attack, so it's possible you could have a pulmonary embolism. And I thought, hallelujah, okay, it's not my heart, maybe it's something else. The EKG machine came in before the chest x-ray, and they did an EKG, and my EKG was abnormal. So he came back in, well, you're having a heart attack.
So they transferred her to St. Joe's in St. Paul by ambulance. It was very frantic. Eventually I got there, and I expected them to tell me that Suzie was gone. But by the grace of God, she made it.
There they discovered that my arteries were clean, so I wasn't having your typical coronary heart attack. I had a spontaneous coronary artery dissection, also known as SCAD.
What it is, it's a tear in the artery wall. And so it creates this kind of fork in the road, if you will. And so the blood now has 2 routes to go through. And when too much blood fills the tear, it pushes that wall out until you finally get a blockage.
Doctors didn't really know what to do with me. The hospital had 1 case of SCAD 14 years before this. So they kind of just treated me for, normal heart attack symptoms and treatment. And then a few days later, they decided that maybe I should be sent down to Mayo.
So at Mayo, they were deciding what kind of treatment to give her, whether they should do surgery or whether they should just monitor and do medication. Her blood pressure came back up. She was doing well, and she didn't have to go through any kind of invasive procedure like that.
So far, I'm down to just a yearly appointment with a cardiologist. I'm much more careful about what I do. I don't do a lot of heavy lifting. I don't pick up my son because I don't want, I don't want that to cause something else. I get down at his level and, to give him a hug or comfort him. I decided to get involved with Go Red because spreading awareness about SCAD, because no one looks at a 32-year-old and thinks, they could have heart disease or have any heart-related issues. I'm involved in a support group through Facebook, and just hearing everyone's stories and how unique every story is and everyone's treatment, all seem to be wanting to spread the awareness. So as a result, it's more diagnosed. It's no longer rare, it's now more uncommon.
To me, the education that Go Red for Women is doing is critical, and probably one of the biggest reasons why Susie's still here, because she knew the signs and symptoms of a heart attack. She knew what she was experiencing, and so she was able to say, yes, take me to the emergency room.
One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish. Black fish, blue fish, old fish, new fish. This one has a little star. This one has a little car. Say, what a lot of fish there are.